I never thought I'd find myself in a situation like this. My name's Jason, and for years I thought I had a pretty stable marriage with Emily. We were together for almost 10 years, and honestly I thought I knew everything about her, or at least I thought I did. We had our ups and downs like every couple, but nothing prepared me for the nightmare I've been living through lately. It all started a few weeks ago, right around my mom's funeral. That was a tough day for all of us, especially for me. My mom was the center of my world, and losing her hit me hard. Emily was there, of course, pretending to be supportive, but something felt off. She was unusually cold, distant even. I'd catch her eyes flickering around, and I swear she looked anxious, like she was hiding something. I brushed it off at first. Maybe she was just uncomfortable or upset. But looking back now, I realized she was nervous because she was hiding something. After the funeral, I noticed her phone vibrate constantly, and she would slip away to answer calls or text messages when she thought I wasn't looking. She'd get defensive if I asked about her phone or if I tried to see who she was talking to. She snapped at me a few times, accusing me of snooping or being paranoid, but I could tell she was hiding the truth. The way she avoided my gaze or snapped at me, it all built a quiet tension that I just couldn't shake. Then came the small signs that something was really wrong. Her phone suddenly was glued to her hand. She started canceling plans last minute, and her excuses for why she was busy or tired didn't add up anymore. I even caught her lying about something minor, and that was a red flag I knew I shouldn't ignore. Still, I told myself I was just overreacting, that I was stressed from losing my mom, and maybe she was just trying to deal with her own stuff. But then, I started to find things that didn't make sense. Little things. One night, I was scrolling through our shared photos and found a picture she took of herself in our bathroom mirror. Her lipstick was smudged and her hair was a mess, but what freaked me out was the caption she added: "Can't wait to see you tonight." I froze. I don't remember her saying anything about plans that night. When I looked closer, I saw her name was saved in her contacts as James, and I realized that wasn't just a friend or a casual acquaintance. That was someone she's been texting for months. I got curious and started digging through her messages. The first few were innocent enough, flirty, yes, but nothing out of the ordinary, until I hit a string of texts that made my stomach drop. They were explicit. She was talking about sex, about how she liked it when he made her feel alive, and she was telling him things I'd never heard her say, things I didn't even know she was capable of saying. She called him babe, and there were dozens of messages filled with lies about how she was just trying to get over things, how we weren't really close anymore, and she needed someone who made her feel alive. I couldn't believe what I was reading. My wife, the woman I married, was cheating on me with my own brother, my own flesh and blood, for months apparently, and she lied her ass off about it. She kept insisting she was just comforting him during the funeral, like that's supposed to explain everything. But those messages, they told a completely different story. The truth was she was sneaking around, hiding her affair, betraying her own family, and lying straight to my face. The worst part is, she's so damn good at lying. When I confronted her with what I found, she didn't even try to deny it at first. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You're imagining things, Jason. You're stressed, grieving, and you're just paranoid. It's all in your head." But I had proof. Screenshots, timestamps, everything. Still, she kept spinning her web of lies, acting like nothing was happening. She called me crazy, told me I was losing my mind, that I was overreacting. But I knew the truth now, and I couldn't pretend anymore. That day, after I saw everything, I felt every emotion hitting me at once: anger, disbelief, heartbreak, fury. She was supposed to be my wife, my partner, someone I trusted. And she was out there lying, cheating, fucking my brother behind my back. I never thought I'd see her for what she really was, and honestly, I don't know what hurts more, what I found, or the fact that I was so blind for so long. That's how it all started. The moment I realized the woman I loved had been lying to me for months, maybe longer, and that everything I thought I knew about her was a complete lie. After I confronted her with the evidence, everything changed in an instant. Emily's face twisted into this bitchy, defiant glare, like she thought she could just brush it off and keep pretending nothing was wrong. She crossed her arms, rolled her eyes, and said, "You're overreacting, Jason. You always make everything about you. This isn't a big deal. You're just jealous because I'm not giving you what you want anymore." That's when I realized she had no intention of taking any responsibility. She was just angry I caught her, and she knew she could spin her lies even more. I asked her how long she's been cheating, and she shrugged like it was nothing. "Months," I told her, and she just smirked and said, "So what? It's not like I cheated on you during every single second. We're not in high school anymore, Jason. People have needs, and if I find someone who makes me feel alive, why the hell should I stay miserable with you?" Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. I felt like I was floating outside my own body, angry, betrayed, humiliated. How could she be so callous? How could she sit there and lie to my face after everything? She turned her bitchy attitude up even more, trying to gaslight me, accusing me of being too sensitive, saying I was just upset because I lost my mom. She kept insisting the messages were fake or taken out of context, that she was just comforting her brother during a difficult time, that she loved him like a brother, she said with a sneer. But I knew better. I knew what I'd seen. And I knew she was lying again. She kept telling me I was crazy, that I was imagining things. I wanted to believe her so badly, but I couldn't ignore what was right in front of me. The emotional toll of all this was overwhelming. I felt like I was drowning in a flood of rage and sadness. I was furious that she could betray me like this, that she could betray her own family, and that she could lie so effortlessly. At the same time, I felt like I'd lost my best friend, my partner, someone I trusted with my life. I kept asking myself how I missed all this, how I never saw the signs, how I was so blind. It made me question everything about our years together, all the little moments I thought meant something. Were they just lies, too? Did she ever really love me, or was I just fooling myself? When she saw I was serious, she finally lost her cool. She screamed at me, called me possessive, paranoid, and crazy. She told me I was just jealous of her happiness, that she deserved to have her fun, to feel alive, that she was tired of pretending everything was perfect when it was, that she was tired of me controlling her. I wanted to scream at her, to tear her apart, but I held back. I knew I had to keep my composure, at least for now. I started packing my things as she kept shouting, trying to break me down further. But I was already done. I had enough. It was like a switch went off inside me then and there. I realized I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay. I wasn't just hurt, I was enraged. How dare she treat this like some game? How dare she lie, cheat, and then try to make me feel guilty for catching her? That was when I knew I had to do something, something drastic. I couldn't just walk away and pretend I didn't know the truth anymore. Her accusations, her lies, they pushed me over the edge. I decided then and there that I wasn't going to let her get away with this. She lied for long enough, and I was done trying to be the good guy. She wanted to keep her secrets, her lies, her affair. Fine. She'd see what it felt like when I fought back. And I swear I wasn't going to go down without a fight. The days that followed were a whirlwind. I threw her out of the house that night, not even caring about the mess it left behind. I didn't have a plan at first. I just knew I needed space, time to breathe and figure out what the hell I was going to do. Emily, of course, was still acting like she was the victim, calling me a controlling asshole, saying I was ruining everything because I lost my mind. She kept insisting she was done with James, that it was just a fling, just some stupid mistake she made during a moment of weakness. Yeah, right. That's what she kept telling herself and me, but I knew better. I knew she was lying again. The messages didn't lie. The fact that she was still texting him when she thought I wasn't looking told me everything I needed to know about her damn lies. I was furious at her for all the pain she caused, me, my family, and especially my brother. How could she be so callous? How could she destroy a family just for a few moments of pleasure? That's what made my blood boil. In the following days, I started to gather evidence of her continued betrayal. I wasn't just going to take her word for it that she was done with James. No, I had to be sure. I installed a hidden app on her phone, something I'd never thought I'd do, but I needed proof. I knew she'd get sneaky, so I had to be smart about it. Turns out she kept texting him, making plans to meet up, even after she claimed she was over it. The texts were explicit again, talking about sex, about how much she missed him, and how she wanted more than just sneaky messages. The thing about Emily is she's a master liar. She'd lie right to my face, then keep going behind my back. She'd try to gaslight me, tell me I was paranoid or that I was jealous because I was insecure. I started to see through her bullshit. I was angry, but I knew I had to stay calm. I wasn't going to let her see me break, not yet. I started planning my next move carefully. One night I decided I'd confront her properly, no more hiding from the truth. I wanted her to know I had all the evidence. I set up a meeting with her at our house, pretending I wanted to talk. When she showed up, the look on her face was priceless: shock, then anger, like she was caught in a trap. I pulled out my phone and played the screenshots of her messages right there in front of her. Her eyes widened and she started to stammer. She tried to deny everything, claiming I was crazy, that these messages were fake, or that I'd spied on her. She was so defensive, so bitchy, it was almost funny if it weren't so tragic. I looked her in the eye and told her I knew everything. That I knew she'd been lying for months, sneaking around, betraying her own family and playing me for a fool. I told her that I was done with her lies, that I wasn't going to be her punching bag anymore. She kept crying, saying I didn't understand, that she was just trying to get through the pain, that she needed someone who made her feel alive. But I didn't buy any of it. I saw right through her bullshit and I was done pretending to be okay with it. I told her she had to leave, that I wasn't going to tolerate her lying anymore. The emotional toll hit me hard. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. All the hope I had left, all the trust I once gave her, shattered into pieces. I was angry at her, yes, but also heartbroken. She was supposed to be my wife, the woman I loved. Now I saw her for what she truly was, a manipulative, lying bitch who'd thrown everything away for some quick sex and lies. I didn't think I'd ever feel this betrayed in my life. But at the same time, I knew I had to do something different now. I couldn't keep living in this nightmare. I had to decide whether to fight for the marriage or to cut my losses and move on. It was clear Emily didn't care about me anymore. Her actions proved that. I realized I had to focus on healing myself. It was time to take control, to rebuild my life from the ground up. The pain was overwhelming, but I knew I had to find a way to get past it. One thing was certain. I was done with her lies, and I was done feeling like a fool. I would either fix myself or walk away. I just didn't know which yet. The days after I kicked her out felt like a blur. I spent a lot of time alone, trying to process everything, trying to understand how my life had come to this point. I kept replaying her lies, the fake tears, her bitchy smirk when she thought she was getting away with it all. Honestly, I felt numb. I didn't know whether to be furious, heartbroken, or just exhausted. The betrayal cut so deep I wondered if I'd ever trust anyone again. But deep down, I knew I had to make a decision. I couldn't keep living in this chaos, in this lie. I started talking to a few close friends, guys I trust, who told me to cut her loose completely. They said she'd been manipulating me for months and that I deserved better. I didn't want to hear it at first. I kept telling myself I was just confused, that maybe we could fix this. But the truth was staring me in the face. Emily had been lying, cheating, and lying some more. She had no intention of changing, and I couldn't keep pretending she was the woman I married. I felt like I was losing my mind, caught between heartbreak and anger. One realization hit me hard during that period: how much I'd invested in her. In this relationship, I thought I knew her, trusted her with everything. But now I saw she was just a bitchy liar all along. I'd been so blind, so naive. I started to think about all the good times, all the plans we made. Were they just illusions? Did she ever really love me, or was I just convenient? That hurt worse than the betrayal itself. It made me question everything about myself, about my worth. I knew I needed to get some clarity, so I decided to take some time for myself. I booked a trip alone just to get away, clear my head. It was supposed to be a healing retreat, but honestly, it was just an excuse to escape the shitstorm I was in. I reflected on what happened, and I kept coming back to one thing: Emily's bitchy, manipulative attitude. She was good at lying, good at pretending everything was fine. But her true colors showed when she thought she was winning. That sneer, that smugness, that's who she really was. While I was away, I also started to think about my next move. I wasn't planning to rush into anything, at least not yet. But I knew I had to be firm. I had to stand up for myself, even if it meant losing her forever. I realized that I'd been a fool for so long trying to hold on to a relationship that was built on lies. I deserved better. My self-respect was more important than any false hope of fixing things with her. The betrayal had opened my eyes, and I couldn't unsee what I'd uncovered. When I returned home, I made a decision. I was going to confront her again, but this time with a plan. I knew she'd try to manipulate me, try to guilt-trip me into staying, but I wasn't going to fall for that anymore. I was done being her punching bag, her fool. I wanted the truth, plain and simple. If she still wanted to lie, that was her problem. I was ready to face whatever came next, whether that meant fighting for the marriage or walking away for good. But I knew one thing: I wouldn't be played anymore. Not by her, not by my brother, and not by the lies she told herself to justify her actions. When I finally sat her down for that second serious talk, I could see. She was already trying to put on her bitchy, manipulative face. She knew I was finished playing nice. I didn't hold back. I laid everything out, every message, every lie, every sneaky moment I caught her in. Her eyes flickered with that bitchy smirk like she thought she could wiggle her way out of it again. She kept insisting she was just confused, that she needed to feel alive, and that she didn't mean for it to happen. Yeah, right. I told her I didn't want her excuses anymore. That she was a liar, a cheat, and she'd been lying to me for months. Her face turned even nastier when I said that, like she was trying to gaslight me into doubting what I knew. She got defensive, of course, trying to turn it all around on me. "You're just jealous," she spat. "You don't give me what I want anymore. You're controlling, insecure, and you're making everything worse." That's when I snapped. I'd had enough of her bitchy attitude, her lies, her constant blame shifting. I told her to get out for good this time. I was done being her doormat, done being the fool she manipulated and lied to. I told her I wasn't going to waste another second on her bullshit, and I was going to rebuild my life without her. The emotional fallout was immediate and intense. I felt a mixture of rage and immense sadness. I was angry she could do this to me, to her own family, and not even care. But I was also heartbroken. I'd loved her once. I'd trusted her, believed in us. Now I saw her for what she really was: a bitchy, manipulative liar who'd throw everything away for a quick fuck and some pathetic ego boost. It was like losing my best friend, my partner, all at once. I kept replaying the moments we shared, trying to find some flicker of the woman I thought I knew. But all I saw was a stranger, a liar, someone who had betrayed me in the worst way possible. At that moment, I knew I had to do something drastic. I couldn't keep living in this hell. I had to make a choice. I could try to save the marriage, but honestly, I didn't trust her anymore. Or I could walk away and start over. I realized the only thing that mattered now was my own sanity and dignity. I was done with her lies, done with the betrayal. I told myself I would never let her manipulate me like this again. I knew deep down I had to choose myself, no matter how painful it was. Because if I stayed, I'd always wonder what she was really hiding, what lies she was still telling herself. No more. I was finally taking control of my life, even if it meant walking away from everything I thought I knew. The aftermath hit me harder than I expected. I moved out of the house entirely, finding a small apartment where I could breathe again. The silence was deafening at first, but it also felt like a relief. No more sneaky texts, no more bitchy smirks, no more pretending everything was okay when it was. I spent days just staring at the walls, trying to come to terms with what had happened. The betrayal from Emily and my brother shattered everything I thought I knew about family, love, trust. It made me question every moment, every memory, every promise we ever made. I eventually realized that I couldn't keep carrying this pain forever. I started seeing a therapist, trying to piece myself back together. It wasn't easy. There were nights I'd lie awake, furious at her, devastated that I ever trusted her, and haunted by the image of her and my brother, so brazen, so fucking bitchy in her lies. But slowly I began to rebuild. Not just my house or my routine, but my sense of self. I stopped obsessing over her lies and started focusing on what I deserved: respect, honesty, loyalty. I learned that I was stronger than I thought, that I didn't need her to define me. Looking back, I realized what she taught me. Sometimes, betrayal comes from the people you trust the most. You can't control other people's choices, but you can control how you respond. I chose to walk away, to heal, to move on. And honestly, I don't regret it. The pain still lingers, yeah, but I'm finally free from her bitchy manipulations and her constant lies. I found clarity and I found a resolve I didn't know I had. Now I focus on myself. I work out, reconnect with friends, and pick up hobbies I'd neglected. I don't dwell on the past anymore. I know there's a future. Waiting, one where I can trust again, where I can feel safe and valued. Her betrayal was a wake-up call, and I refuse to let it break me. Instead, I'm using it to grow stronger, to learn that sometimes the biggest lessons come from the deepest betrayals. And the one thing I know for sure, no matter how bitchy or manipulative someone gets, the truth eventually comes out. And when it does, you have to decide whether to forgive, forget, or walk away. I chose to walk.